Hello, welcome to study session 2 of GS 301 Entrepreneurship Studies. Entrepreneurial motivations, variables, creativity and innovation. Introduction. In this study session, you are going to learn about what motivates people to become entrepreneurs, creativity, innovation and entrepreneurial variables. You can look around you and see products that are different from what they were years before. Also, you may notice that services are being delivered in better ways than before. These are the end results of creativity and innovation. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study session, you should be able to 1. Define and use correctly all the keywords. 2. Discuss the motivational and non-motivational influences of entrepreneurship. 3. Identify entrepreneurship variables. 4. Define creativity and innovation. 5. Explain creativity process. 6. Discuss various forms and classifications of innovation. 7. Discuss the phases in successful innovation. Entrepreneurship motivations. Motivation is the driving force within individuals that propel them to action. Entrepreneurial motivations are those factors that propel individuals to become entrepreneurs. Scholars have conducted various researches on entrepreneurial motivations and have come up with several factors that motivate people to become entrepreneurs. Some scholars have adopted the trait approach and come up with certain traits and characteristics that they believe entrepreneurs possess. Motivational influences on entrepreneurship or bright side of entrepreneurs. Need for achievement. David, a psychologist, the father of the need for achievement theory, posits that individuals who are high in NAC are more likely than those who are low in NAC to become entrepreneurs. This is because such individuals tend to engage in activities or tasks that have a high degree of individual responsibility for outcomes, require individual skill and effort, have a moderate degree of risk, and include clear feedback on performance. Risk-taking propensity has been identified in the entrepreneurship literature as a willingness to take more moderate risk. This motivational influence on entrepreneurship is an offshoot of the need for achievement factor. For individuals with a high need for achievement would have moderate propensity to take risk. This is because activities with moderate risk are challenging and at the same time appear to be attainable. Tolerance for ambiguity. According to Bodnar, 1962, an ambiguous situation is one which cannot be adequately structured or categorized by any individual because of the lack of sufficient cues, which it defined intolerance of ambiguity as the tendency to perceive ambiguous situations as sources of threat. And Theo and Fo, 1997, defined tolerance of ambiguity as the ability to respond positively to ambiguous situations. Thus, because the entrepreneur creates a new business in an uncertain and risky situation, an entrepreneur that has intolerance for ambiguity cannot be an entrepreneur. Locus of control. This refers to the extent to which an individual believes in fate and their ability to control fate. Individuals who have external locus of control believe that the outcome of an event is outside their control and view fate as mainly determined by external forces and luck. On the other hand, individuals with an internal locus of control believe that their personal actions directly affect the outcome of an event. Self-efficacy. This is conceptualized as a belief in one's ability to muster and implement the necessary personal resources, skills and competencies to attain a certain level of achievement on a given task. Self-efficacy is basically task-specific self-confidence. An individual with high self-efficacy will take negative feedback in a more positive manner and use that feedback to improve his or her performance. Hence, is more likely to become an entrepreneur. Desire for independence. This could be in terms of financial or job independence. Independence entails taking the responsibility to use one's own judgment as opposed to blindly following the assertion of others. It also involves taking responsibility for one's own life rather than living off the effort of others. An entrepreneur is a decision maker and must have a mind of his or her own. The entrepreneur gives the order which others follow. Thus, once an entrepreneur desires to be independent and take control of his or her life, then that person is propelled to become an entrepreneur. Non-motivational influences on entrepreneurs or the dark side of entrepreneur. Opportunity cost. According to a study by Amit 2009, entrepreneurs are more likely to undertake entrepreneurial activities when the opportunities costs are lower. That is, paid workers who choose to become entrepreneurs do so because they have less to lose. That is, lower opportunity costs by leaving their paid work. Stocks of financial capital. This refers to the amount of money an individual is able to accumulate or stock. Evans and Liston found that the hazard into self-employment is constant in age, and older workers tend to have the propensity to become entrepreneurs because they would have had time to build up the capital needed to start a business, unlike younger workers. Social ties to investors. The importance of social embedding in the creation of new business has been appreciated by scholars of entrepreneurship. Andrich and Zimmer 1986 noted that entrepreneurs are highly social actors and they actively embed themselves in social contexts. For instance, in the course of their entrepreneurship research, they found that immigrant entrepreneurs in many cases formed ethnic networks to share capital or business in order to overcome hostility in the host countries. Thus, given this condition, an individual will be propelled to become an entrepreneur. Career experience. This is closely related to unsatisfactory work experience. If an individual is not happy with his or her job and has acquired a great deal of experience on the job and possesses entrepreneurial spirit abilities, then there is the tendency for the person to become an entrepreneur. Life path circumstances. This refers to individual circumstances within the life path of individuals that prepare them to become entrepreneurs. Unsatisfactory work environment. When an individual is dissatisfied with his work environment or finds the work environment unconducive, then in rebellion he will quit the job and seek alternative employment. However, if the individual in question is an entrepreneur, then he is likely going to start his own business. Creativity. Creativity is the ability to bring something new into existence. This emphasizes the ability, not the activity, of bringing something new into existence. A person may therefore conceive of something new and envision how it will be useful, but not necessarily take the necessary action to make it a reality. Innovation is the process of doing new things. It is the conversion of creative ideas into marketplace reality, which people are prepared to buy. Stages of creativity. Take a look at this diagram. Innovation and its benefits. Zimra, Scarborough, and Wilson, 2008, define innovation as a specific instrument of entrepreneurs, the means by which they exploit change as an opportunity for a different business or different service. As a dimension of corporate entrepreneurship, innovation is a firm's commitment to creating and introducing products, production processes, and organizational systems. Forms of innovation. Technological innovativeness. Technological innovativeness primarily comprises research and engineering efforts aimed at developing new products and processes. Product market innovativeness consists of market research, product design, and innovations in advertising and promotion. Administrative innovativeness is concerned with novelty in management systems, control techniques, and organizational structure. Innovation can also be classified in terms of whether it is incremental, modular, architectural, or radical. Incremental innovation. This comprises relatively small modifications to pre-existing solutions. In the view of Anderson and Clark 1990, in AGA 2006, this type of innovation improves and extends an established design. Improvement takes place in individual components, but the basic core design concept and the linkage between them remain the same. An example is faster spinning hard drives. Modular innovation. This kind of innovation changes the core design of one or more components, but does not change the entire product architecture. This type of innovation requires new knowledge for one or more components, but the architectural knowledge remains the same. A good example is a digital phone which replaces the analog phone without changing the phone itself. Architectural innovation. The essence of this type of innovation is a reconfiguration of an established system to link together components and parts in a new way. According to the authors, architectural innovation does not mean that the components remain unchanged, but they are changed in a manner that there are new ways of linkage between the components. Radical innovation. This type of innovation brings about a new dominant design and consequently a new set of core design concepts embodied in components that are linked together in a new architecture. Radical innovation leads to new solutions that address customer needs. Disruptive innovation gets a great deal of attention, particularly in the press, because market appears as if from nowhere, creating massive new sources of wealth. It tends to have its roots in technological discontinuities, such as the one that enabled Motorola's rise to prominence with the first generation of cell phones. Phases of successful innovation: idea generation and mobilization, advocacy and screening, experimentation, commercialization, diffusion and implementation. Idea generation and mobilization. This phase is the starting point for new ideas. Successful idea generation should be stimulated by the pressure to compete and by the freedom to explore. Once a new idea is generated, it is conveyed to the mobilization phase, wherein the idea travels to a different physical or logical location. Because most inventors are not marketers, a new idea often needs someone other than its originator to move it along. This phase is crucially important to the progression of a new idea, and omitting it can delay or even sabotage the innovation process. Advocacy and screening. According to the authors, this phase is the period of weighing an idea's costs and benefits. Advocacy and screening have to take place simultaneously to weed out ideas that lack potential without allowing stakeholders to reject ideas impulsively solely on the basis of their novelty. Firms will have more success when the evaluation process is transparent and standardized, because employees feel more comfortable contributing when they could anticipate how their ideas will be judged. Experimentation. The experimentation phase assesses the sustainability of ideas for a particular firm at a particular time and in a particular environment. In this phase, it is essential to determine who the customer will be and what he or she will use the innovation for. With that in mind, the firm might discover that although someone has a great idea, it is ahead of its time or just not right for a particular market. However, it is important not to interpret these kinds of discoveries as failures. They could actually be a catalyst of new and better ideas. Commercialization. In this phase, the firm should look to its customers to verify that innovation actually solves their problem, and then should analyze the cost and benefit of rolling out the innovation. According to De Souza, 2007, an invention is only considered an innovation once it has been commercialized. Therefore, the commercialization phase is a significant one, similar to advocacy, in that it takes the right place to progress the idea to the next developmental phase. Diffusion and implementation. According to the author, diffusion is the process of gaining final company overall acceptance of an innovation. Implementation is the process of setting up the structures, maintenance and resources needed to produce it. According to Lowe and Domini, 2006, good innovation processes share the following characteristics: allow divergence and exploration at the front end. This helps ensure that the new ideas generated are not simply a repeat of what has been done before. Synthesize individual ideas into bigger platforms before selecting individual's idea to develop further. This enables the company to avoid gambling the farm or on one idea without first learning about the larger opportunity at hand. Summary. You have learned in this study session entrepreneurial motivations, motivational and non-motivational influences on entrepreneurship. In addition, entrepreneurship variables have been examined. This is the end of study session 2. Thanks for listening.